What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your PT525BR 5.5-inch powered Bluetooth LED roll bar speakers. As you can see, it comes with the speakers themselves, one active and one passive, two non-slip pads, rubber slips in different sizes so you can fit the speakers onto your bar, 4 1.75-inch and 4 2-inch rings for different size bars, 4 washers, 4 nuts, and 4 screws. Also included is an aux cable, an RGB extension cord, a wire harness, and a wireless remote control to control the LEDs. You're also going to need an Allen key to adjust the swivel mount on your speakers. Now on the active speaker, we also have an RCA line output so we can connect the speakers to external amplifiers, powered speakers, or subwoofers. We also have this aux input here for our aux cable so we can play music from outside sources. And we also have the input for our wire harness so we can connect these speakers to a vehicle or a battery. So if we take a look at this wire harness here, you'll see all of these colored wires attached to it. Again, these are used to connect your speakers to your battery or vehicle. This yellow wire here is used to connect to the positive terminal of the battery of your vehicle. This black wire will connect to the negative terminal of your battery or to the metal chassis of your vehicle. This red wire will connect to the 12-volt ignition switch. And lastly, this blue wire is a remote power line out. This would connect to another set of powered speakers, powered subwoofer or amplifier, so that those would power on as soon as our PT525BRs do. There's also this black and gray wire to connect the active speaker to the passive speaker, and like I mentioned before, we would want to use this extension cable to connect the RGB cables of both speakers together so that the LEDs light up on both speakers. Now the PT525BRs come included with 360-degree swivel brackets, so we can position the speakers in any direction for the best sound possible in our setup. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take out these two outer screws here inside of the bracket. After we've taken those screws out, we can loosen this screw here in the middle so we can adjust the swivel bracket. So after we start to twist the bracket, you'll see where the holes inside of the bracket align with the holes inside of the speaker. So once we found a position we like, we can take the screws and screw them back into the bracket, which will lock the speakers in that position. After that, we can take one of our non-slip rubber pads, peel the tape off here to reveal the adhesive, and then place it right on top of the bracket. This is going to keep your speakers from slipping around on your bar. So now we can use the rings that are going to fit best here on our bar. Since the bar is a bit on the thin side, I'm going to go with these 1.75-inch rings here. So next we can take one of our rubber slips and line it up to the inside of the ring here. Now if one rubber slip isn't going to be enough to hold the ring steady onto your bar, you can actually stack up these rubber slips for a more secure fit. So after that, we can place our rings onto the bar where we want to hang our speakers. So now we can take our speaker and line it up to the bar in between the two rings here. Then we're going to slide the rings onto the speaker where the holes on the outside of the rings line up to the holes on the bracket. Now while the speaker is hanging still onto the bar, it's not fully secured just yet. This is where the screws, nuts, and bolts come in. So I'm going to grab a couple of screws and a couple of washers. I'm going to feed the washers through the screws like so. Then I'm going to feed the screws through the holes here on the bracket. Next we'll take a couple of nuts and screw them onto the back of the screws. Now on the back of the rings, you'll notice these grooves here which will hold the nuts in place as we tighten the screws. So after you've mounted your first speaker, you're going to want to follow these same exact steps to mount your second speaker. So next I'm going to take my wire harness, take this end here and plug it into the wire harness input on the back of my active speaker. Now you also want to make sure that the wires from your wire harness match up with the wire connection points on the back of your active speaker. So now to connect the speakers together, I'm going to grab the gray and black wires here. I'm going to take the positive gray wire and plug that into the positive push terminal on the back of my passive speaker. Then I'm going to take the black negative wire and plug that into the negative push terminal on the back of my passive speaker. Now for today, we're going to be powering our speakers with an external battery. See here, I've already had these electrical wires run to the battery itself. So now we just have to take them and connect them to the speakers. So I'm going to take the yellow and the red wire and run that to the positive terminal of our battery. Then I'm going to take the black wire and run that to the negative terminal of the battery. Now just remember, if you are setting these speakers up to your vehicle, the red wire would go to the 12-volt accessory ignition switch so that they power on as soon as your vehicle does. And like I mentioned before, the blue wire would go to your second set of powered speakers, powered subwoofer, or your amplifier. This way, those devices would power on as soon as the PT525BRs do, which would eliminate the need to run a second line from your second piece of equipment. But since we're only powering installing these two speakers, we won't be needing the blue wire today. So the next thing we can do is take our RGB extension cable and plug each end into the RGB cable on the back of each speaker. You just want to be sure that the arrows on both RGB cables line up correctly. After that, we can use the included wireless remote to control the LEDs on the speakers. So I'll use the power button here to turn the lights on. There's also this demo button here which will put the lights onto demo mode, where the lights will flash in between red, green, and blue. On the top and bottom of the remote are these mode buttons which we can use to switch the lights in between different modes, including different fades and strobe modes between all the different colors or by themselves. There are a number of different combinations between the two modes, so you can surf with the mode button to find the display which is right for you. You can also adjust how fast the colors fade into each other with these speed buttons here on the sides, and you can also set the lights into a static color with these color buttons here. This would also automatically set the lights into static color mode from any mode you set beforehand. So for example, if I have the lights on demo mode right now and I press the color button here, it just sets it into a static color. You can also use these color buttons here to switch the lights into a static color of red, green, blue, light green, light blue, purple, teal, orange, a yellow-green color, and much more. And lastly, you can adjust the brightness of the LEDs with these bright buttons here. So if I go to bright minus, the lights go down, and if I go to bright plus, they come back up. The PT525BRs also have Bluetooth compatibility, so you can pair any smartphone or tablet. To do that, you'll just want to go into the Bluetooth settings of your smartphone or tablet, search for the device that reads PT525BR, click on it to pair, and you'll know your device is connected when you hear that sound. This will also take priority if you already have an aux device connected to the speakers, so if you want to hear from the aux device, you can just turn the Bluetooth settings off on your phone or tablet. So now let's hear how the speakers sound. So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to set up your PT525BR powered Bluetooth LED roll bar speakers. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.